Hey team, today I'm going to walk you through how to set up a squat rack so that you're doing it safely. Because let me tell you, your squat rack setup can either make or break it when you're in a max lift and you've got a lot of weight in your back. If it's not set up well, you're setting yourself up for injury. So, 3 simple things we want to make sure we're doing when we set the squat rack. Now, keep in mind, every squat rack is slightly different. So just take the principles of this and apply it to whatever version you have. Step number 1 is setting up your safety bar. Now, the idea of a safety bar, this is what these ones look like, lots of dust. The idea of a safety bar is to be there for you so that when you do a squat, in your bottom position, if you can't stand up, you can just drop the bar on the safety bar and safely exit from underneath the barbell. If it's too low, you're gonna get pinned. If it's too high, it's gonna prevent you from going down to full depth. So depending on what you're working on with your squat, whether you're doing pause squats, whether you're going full depth or not, set your bar up to help set up your squat for safety. Make sense? I think so. So for example, for myself, I would look at, okay, let's say I'm just working on doing full depth squat. I want to be able to come into my squat rack and imagine I have a barbell on and I'm squat all the way down. Okay, so this side is actually not too bad. So I want to make sure I'm setting up the safety bar. So that way if my bar is on my back here, it's not higher than that, so it's blocking me from going full depth, right? So with this guy, we're just going to do this. I don't know what side I put it on. This one, you put it in the tube. Lots of them are very different though, so just look at whatever you have. Now, if I was in my squats, I could dump the weight on my bar, on the safety bars, and just safely exit out. That's number 1. Number 2 is setting up where the bar is going to rest. Now, lots of holes here, lots of options. We want to make sure that we are never having to tiptoe weight onto the holder, okay? If we're doing that and you have a lot of weight on your back, and you have to look side to side and be like, am I there yet? You sometimes risk letting the bar slip or having to not be able to actually tiptoe the bar over. So, rule of thumb is collarbone height. If you don't have a hole that actually has collarbone height, always go below, don't go above. Okay, so I think this one's pretty good. Let's just, these are pretty classic things. So you're just gonna put it in and then twist it. So now I'm gonna grab a bar and test it. For myself, oops, sorry. Okay, so notice whether I'm doing a front squat or a back squat. When I'm doing my squat, I can do my set and I'm just gonna come in, hit, and then just slide down. Except these ones are not fun. But just slide down and then out. I don't have to worry about looking side to side or like tiptoeing the bar over. So if you see the hole up, it might be okay for me to go one up, but for sure this height here, I can just safely squat down the rack and exit the bar. Make sense? Okay, the third thing really is more just how you set your body up. So whenever we want to do a squat rack or squat, again, front, back, low back, doesn't matter. I always like to push the bar to the front so it's not rolling, okay? Second thing is making sure your feet are underneath your bar when you're about to lift the weight off the squat rack. So that means we want to actually come underneath our bar, okay? My feet are right underneath my bar. So whether it's low back here or I'm doing a front squat, my center of my mass, middle of my foot is underneath this bar. That's the safest position for me to unrack this heavy weight. So I want to make sure my feet are here, not underneath, and not here, because it puts a lot of strain on the back to get the bar off the squat rack. So feet are underneath here, drive my knees out, and I'm just going to stand straight up, take a half step back, and then for my squats. Now you might be like, Dania, but what about your safety rack? Yes, so you can set these up inside or outside. Some squat racks have the safety bars out, some have them in. So if I was doing a max set, I'd want to set these on the inside of my squat rack, so that way when I'm doing my squats, if I get stuck, I can drop the weight on here and bow out. Because I don't have the type that actually goes out here, that's how I want to set up. If you do have the type that actually extends out here, which I think most gyms do, then all you're going to do is take your weight back up, make sure you're still in the safety bars, do your sets, boom, 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 and then walk forward, re-rack. If you have any questions, drop them below. Hopefully that helps clear up any confusion of how to set up the squat rack. But this is to ensure you're safe, you're protected, you have a bailout if you need to, and really, you're setting yourself up for the best position